having a dog in the classroom always sounded fun. But from an education standpoint, I was definitely a little nervous, not knowing how that would work out. So I really probably wouldn't have been sold on it just by talking about it, but actually seeing it in action and seeing the girls and how they calm down, how they get excited to actually come to school now because Garnet's here, and how concerned they get for Garnet when Garnet's not here. So just seeing all those interactions really made me say, okay, everybody should have a dog in the room.
So much of what we want to do here is create safety and create that positive regard, and just having Mint as part of that, and knowing that the students, just knowing when they see her, knowing that we're fulfilling our mission to be that safe, positive place. She's helped me do my job better. So I just know that we're able to reach more students, create more safety, create more positive regard, more moments where we can have authentic moments with our students of change and growth, and that Mint gets to be a part of all of that and helping me and helping others.
It's really hard to explain, just the effect that animals have on me, just astounding. When I'm in Jerry sometimes and we're talking about some deep issues, I've had Mintz come up to me and just kind of put her head on my lap and just look up to me with her cute little eyes. It just relaxes me.
I have a particular student who during our counseling sessions, we get Garnet every single week when we meet. We have a special brush that's only for this student because she grooms Garnet. She brushes her every week when we meet. And it just enables her to focus and to remain calm while she's talking. So now she's focused on brushing Garnet, and then she's able to talk, and we're able to actually accomplish a lot more in our counseling sessions because Garnet's there with her.
One of the things that it helps with is it teaches the kids responsibility, because I have her for 2 periods back to back with the same group. So during that time, we have to make sure she goes to the bathroom. We have to make sure she gets back to where she's supposed to go. We have to make sure she goes to her job, which is greeting kids in the hallway between the class periods. So part of their job is to make sure that she's ready to do those things, which is kind of cool. So, they're not just responsible for themselves, but to make sure she does what she's supposed to do. We play games with her, like we put the vocab words on the floor, and then they'll help her, step on the appropriate word that we're talking about.
So there have been a couple times where girls come in saying, I'm not going to work, today's a really bad day. So they'll sit down and I'll just put their books with them. But after sitting with Garnet for a little bit, just petting her, the constant motion, they kind of calm down and they're willing to work without me even reminding them.
Getting attention and love from her just makes a huge difference. I don't know how it works, but just boosts your mood instantly. When I walk into the room and I'm upset and I see her, it's just better.
Mostly they'll just want to read to her versus read to me, which is kind of nice. If she, for some reason, misses class, I'll be like, can you please tell her what she missed yesterday? And then you'll just hear oh, this character did that, and then this character did that, and then this character did that. So even though they don't want to tell me and they're fighting with me about it, they'll make sure she knows so that she doesn't get it wrong when I ask her.
Sometimes I feel a little bit down and I feel not coming to school, but then I see her, I know she's here, it makes me want to come. Just because she just makes me feel good. When I'm doing a test or something, even though I know tests are stressful, so if I see her, I just take a minute and relax and then get back to work.
If we're doing a review exercise or anything that I can have something on a card up at the front of the room that Garnet can bump, so they know how to get her, okay, Garnet, bump this, bump that, they'll point her there. And so even if they don't want to do the review, they say, oh, we already know this, we don't need to do this. As soon as I put Garnet in there and say, okay, get Garnet to show me the right answer, everyone in the class is willing to do it, and then everyone in the class wants to work with her.
Because a dog actually helps you pay attention more, and it's a comfort. So you're asleep, it will nudge you or something to make you wake up to pay attention to do your work instead of being lazy and just sleep.
We had a day where we were trying to write a paper. We were trying to just do the graphic organizer for the paper, and the one kid was like, I'm not doing this, this is stupid. So I said, well, Mint still has to do it, and she's having a rough time writing, so can you at least get her thoughts down on the graphic organizer, and we'll just worry about yours later. And then by the end, he managed to write it down. And then he's like, oh, she got one paragraph done. And he wrote one paragraph that said, you know, my name's Mint, and in 2016, I want to, you know, learn how to do this, and my steps to do that are. And so even though he himself didn't do his, the next day he'd already practiced. So the next day he came in and did his, and then was shoving it in her face because he got 5 paragraphs done and she was still stuck on one.
We've used Mint in some lesson plannings about, especially with amygdala hijackings, just when there's a trigger, when there's a smell, when there's a scent, how do we respond to that? And we use Mint a lot of times in just discussing what it is to have a trigger, what happens when our attention is drawn, otherwise, how do we calm ourselves down, and those training type of things.
We use her a lot for teaching social skills as well. There was another girl that one day in particular was a little bit rough with Garnet. Not in an abusive or harmful way, but just like, Garnet, I don't want you today, and kind of pushed her away at some point. And she does this with humans all the time. She comes into my class, I'm not learning, and is yelling. She just has an intimidating personality. The next day she came into class and said, oh, Garnet, and Garnet kind of looked at her and then went to another student. And she immediately said, oh, it's because I yelled at her yesterday. So a connection that she's not able to make with me, she would never say, oh, I yelled at you yesterday, that's why you're not as inclined to help me. She noticed right away with Garnet, oh, I yelled at her yesterday, she doesn't want to be with me. So they can make those connections just by interacting with the dog rather than humans.
And I've noticed a lot of people aren't like as loud as they were before. It's like I guess they're sensitive to Mint or something, or subconsciously, something like that.
I include her in the brain breaks a lot of times. Brain breaks, when I say without talking, line up in order by your birth date or by your first letter of your middle name. And I always make them include Garnet in that. So they have to use the hand cues to get her to move to the right position and stay in the right place, but also arrange themselves. So just having her there gets everybody participating.
Like, we'll do brain breaks with her sometimes. Like, she has the trays with the treats and everything, like, she can do, and like we can get involved with it. So like, even if we're doing like a normal brain break to like get us back on track, she can be involved, which is cool.
So what I find, thank you. What I find therapeutic about dogs, it gives me something to distract my mind, but it calms me down to help focus on my work. Because if I have someone talking, they would distract me from actually doing my work and keeping my grades up. But she keeps my grades up by staying calm.
This is what she does in class every day.
My room is so much more calm this year than it was last year, because even these people with super loud, high energy, intimidating personalities are voicing their concerns for Garnet. So they will be a little softer and say, hey, Garnet's a little worried about you right now. Are you okay? So then they'll bring their energy levels down. They know that if my room gets too out of hand, I will have to send Garnet somewhere else. And so they want to create that safe space for her, which in turn creates a safe space for them.
There has been a seismic shift in the building because of this element of safety and love that Mint brings. So it's not quantifiable, but you can feel it in every single day that there are students that just have trouble. They readily say that they hate people, but yet here is Mint, who's not a person, but yet is part of teaching students how to interact, how to get through those bad days, how to move forward, and Mint is constantly helping our students do that in ways that we can't.